Call of Duty Vanguard sucks, is what I said in 2022. Let me go on the record and say this. I love Call of Duty Vanguard. When the game launched in November of 2021, I honestly felt like this game was one of the best the franchise has put out in a while. Come December, and you had things like the developers going on a bit of a sabbatical and the Krampus event. No, please no! And you basically had a recipe for creating one of the most toxic environments in Call of Duty history. Vanguard is an S tier. It's not great, and it's not awful. The campaign feels like they just basically assembled the World War II version of the Avengers if their only superpowers were being able to bore people to death. A multiplayer experience that improved on every one of the previous two games' flaws, and a zombies experience that, well,
it f***ing sucked!
The campaign follows the Vanguard, the World War II version of Task Force 141 with worse people, except, well, Kingsley. The story flips back and forth between present day and flashbacks of events centered around each character, meaning each character other than Webb gets their own little mission that helps provide some sort of context and backstory for each character. Some are good and some are awful. You open up the campaign as Novak, a character that specializes in picking locks, and he's dead. The Vanguard start off their mission by sneaking aboard a train headed for some German sub-base. The train section is like Michael Bay was told, hey, design a stealth mission, and then he instead just threw in a tank. It starts off pretty slow as just, it's like a stealth mission, but quickly gets action-packed with the player jumping from train to train in order to take out the driver before it reaches the station. Once at the station, you will fight German cannon fodder until the player gets the sub. Once inside the sub, player Novak will attempt to open some mysterious, oh wait, flashbang. Everyone's captured but Wade, and Novak is, well, back to it. You then get a cutscene of the team stating how screwed they are, but Webb makes sure the team understands, let Kingsley cook. This is where the game kicks into its flashback mode, showing you Kingsley during D-Day. This is by far one of the best missions for about 20 seconds. Even though the game does its typical Call of Duty shit, you're thrown into a partial stealth mission where you see the horrors of D-Day and avoid patrols. That lasts about 10 seconds, and then from there, the story turns into a car crash you can't look away from. Look, I don't expect a ton from Call of Duty campaigns, but when you're taking a major historical event and using some level of inspiration from real soldiers for the characters in your game, it's not too much to ask for the developers to develop something a bit better than shitty flashbacks with 1/2 cup of Michael Bay. You'll experience things like Paulina becoming the spark of the Russian army, barf, Wade having his moment in the sun,
do you speak Japanese?
And Riggs, who I'm not sure what this is. And this is a general Call of Duty problem, but Vanguard does this not once but twice, where they kill off a character from the Vanguard team and expect everyone to care. Guess what? I literally know nothing about Novak other than he's really good at breaking into places. And I knew nothing about Webb other than he just doesn't know how to press B. So this reaction from Kingsley each time someone in the group is offed means absolutely nothing to me. They also do this with a couple other minor characters during Paulina's and Riggs' missions, but like, again, why? I guess the major thing though, with there being this like variety of characters and flashbacks, is that we get to experience various locations, which is actually pretty cool. Like one moment you can be in Berlin and the next you can be in Africa. Oh, by the way, you do unalive Charlie from Lost, and the big bad is probably one of the most laughable deaths ever. Also, this game seems to set up some sort of connection to the zombies mode and a possible second game. I'm not sure why. The campaign isn't the worst thing I've ever played, but it's also something that was clearly put together just to justify a $70 purchase. At least it's better than the Modern Warfare 3 campaign though. The zombies mode in Vanguard is just absolutely awful. I'm personally not a fan of this new zombie style being the only mode. If you had like a genuine round-based mode, with this being kind of like an arcade style to level up weapons, I probably wouldn't care. At launch it was pretty garbage because they released literally one map, which was just the map Red Star Button Zombies. Beyond that, the rest of the maps were pretty mid, and the Shino Numa remake was pretty lackluster. I honestly don't know much of what's happening in terms of the story when it comes to the zombies mode, but again, personally, I'm not a fan of the new style of zombies. It's just, to me, awful, and that's just, again, my opinion. It just feels easier, and things like pack-a-punching weapons or even just getting the boss rounds, dogs, doesn't feel as entertaining as it once did. The multiplayer is the bread and butter of this game. Looking back, I was a little too hard on it. Honestly, I think as the Vanguard cycle came to an end, I found some genuine enjoyment because it felt like the developers just said, fuck it, laser weapon. Which I personally thought it was something that they should have done a very long time ago. Nearly everything is identical to Modern Warfare 2019, from the gunsmith, operators, graphics, and movement, except I feel like this game does everything better. Hot take, I know. As I said, this game, when it launched, was honestly a very fun experience, but then I think when December, the January time frame kind of came and left, it left a bad taste in everyone's mouths. Playing this game in 2024, I've run into a couple issues. Cheaters still exist, so much for Ricochet, and I've noticed some inconsistency with the game's matchmaking. Sometimes I've been able to find a match within 2 minutes, and sometimes it could be like 30 seconds. And while that might not sound terrible, I would imagine as time goes on, it's just going to get worse and worse to find a match. But this could also be because of the game's skill-based matchmaking, just saying. And I want to point out, anytime I've been doing any sort of matchmaking, I've had the quick play set to team deathmatch, which nearly everyone and their mother will end up playing. So I'm not really sure what it's all about. Other than that, if you feel like the game's pivot to including things like Godzilla, Raul Menendez, or even the F-2000 ruin the experience for this being an actual World War II game, then maybe that is something that'll keep you away. Other than that, I will say Vanguard has a pretty decent multiplayer experience. COD cycle be damned. If you have the time, maybe give it another look, because I feel like the multiplayer maps, weapons, and customizations make the game pretty fun, well, except for that whole Krampus event. Anyways, I'd like to know what you have to say in the comment section below. What did you think of Call of Duty Vanguard? Do you think the game is good or bad? Let me know what you think in the comment section below, because I would honestly really like to hear what people have to say. On a scale of slam and a jammin', I'd say Call of Duty Vanguard is Imagine Dragons mid. If you enjoyed the video, great, maybe consider leaving a like, and if you didn't, well, it's not getting much better than this, but if you enjoyed it just enough, maybe consider subscribing because it helps out the channel. Thanks for watching, and well, bye!